under just because I feel like 4. That's a good number. 4 commercials.
And you like being the underdog. Anyways, guys, on to the next one.
On to our next sponsor. Underdog on DVD.
Yeah.
A movie that came out in the early 2000s.
I never watched it.
Me neither, but it had that guy from Corey in the House.
Corey?
Yeah, Corey. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Average Joe Football Show. I'm your host, Joe Fair. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of John B. Stetson's favorite football podcast. John B. Stetson.
You care to explain? Because I didn't have a great reaction.
No, yeah, I think it's the only one. This is fair. I was trying to get you kind of stumped. I'm joined, obviously, once again by my illustrious producer, Joe. How's it going, Joe?
It's going pretty well. I want you to explain this John B. Weston to me.
John B. Stetson.
Okay.
Actually, John B. Stetson. John B. Stetson is actually the inventor of the cowboy hat. Yeah. Didn't know there was an inventor of the cowboy hat until today, but I found it out. I don't know how we're gonna where we're gonna go from here now. I said that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
but actually, I do know where we're gonna go from here.
Okay. Sorry, John B. Stetson.
Is he dead now?
No. Yeah, he's. How long do you think the cowboy hat has been around?
30, 40 years. Tops.
At least a half decade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, but are you familiar with Silento or Silento?
Oh my gosh.
No way, you already know this.
I know where you're going because this was going to be the guy that I was going to say at the beginning and I forgot until now.
I was going to ask you if I could start the show so that I could say it. Yeah.
Should we start the whole thing over again?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was literally, that was going to be the guy. It was going to be his favorite show.
Rest in peace. No, he's not dead, but he did kill his cousin. He's okay. He's in jail now, but he murdered his cousin.
He's fine, so if you're worried.
Yeah.
But he did kill someone.
Yeah, he did murder his cousin.
Yeah. No, and if you're not sure who Silento is, Silento?
Yeah.
Who is he?
Where
Joe?
were you in 2015? Was it 2000? No,
I think it was 2015.
2015, 16.
I'll tell you where Silento was. He was whipping and nay.
All across the continent.
All literally. Silento is the guy who came up with the "Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay" song.
Yeah.
Instant classic.
Classic.
Cult classic, sure. Maybe even.
Yeah.
But he's it's
jail.
not funny because he killed somebody, but he did shoot and kill his cousin.
Wow, it was a shooting.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, he shot him to death.
Why?
I don't know. You hear of people killing people all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
And I just really think about how easy it is to not kill somebody.
Yeah, but on the other hand, on the flippity flop,
okay,
it is so easy to kill somebody.
Well, that's fair because it is easier than you would think that it would be.
Yeah,
but also most people I think can go most of their lives without doing it.
Oh, for sure. I think the majority.
Yeah, the majority of people.
Yeah.
I haven't killed anybody yet.
Yeah.
What if one day I kill somebody and then this is played on like the news or something? Oh my gosh. Wow. And I think I have to kill somebody now. I think it's going to be you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're having We're having a great time here. Me and Joe are playing chess with each other.
No, we're not. I want it to be known that I was not playing chess. Joe plays chess, and he's planning on playing chess as soon as I get on with the football crap.
Yeah.
And
as you guys can see, I have my full board set up here.
As you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see this. For those of you that don't know, this is the Average Joe Football Show. I'm your host, Joe Fair, joined by my producer, Joe Thiessen. This is a show hosted by two guys named Joe. One of us knows football, and the other doesn't know football.
were you trying to keep
that was
Dr. Seuss going?
That was a lot of rhymes there in a row.
Really?
Yeah, and we will talk football eventually. Obviously, it's the freaking Super Bowl.
Today.
Not today, this week.
Oh.
Today, though, is the Super Bowl Extravaganza.
Which I don't
episode.
understand, because how can we do that if the Super Bowl's not till
Super
Sunday?
Bowl Extravaganza. I hope you're playing music when I said that.
Yeah.
You're totally not going to play music. Super Bowl Extravaganza episode. We're going to talk all things Super Bowl right after we get done with the news. And then we're talking all things Super Bowl, Joe. We're going to talk the Super Bowl. We're going to talk the big game. We're going to talk the NFL championship. We're going to talk the final game between the AFC winner and the NFC winner. We're going to talk the Buccaneers versus the Chiefs.
We're going to talk about how Tom Brady's going to win.
Whoa, bold prediction. We'll save that for the end of the show, Joe. Goodness gracious. That's the guy who doesn't know anything about football, just so you guys know. So take everything he says with a grain of salt.
Rice.
Salt. But yeah, it's the Super Bowl Extravaganza episode. I said that we would have snacks last time on the last episode. I said that we would have guests. All that is not true.
Oh, no. That's so sad.
Literally just us today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Joe, I don't know if you have anything else you want to talk about before we hit the news.
Do you want me to get snacks?
No, it's okay. We'll do it next Super Bowl. Yeah, but unless you got something else you want to say about Silento, Joe, you're the one that brought him up.
I don't really.
Okay.
Not sure if he's wrongfully convicted or not. That's up for debate, but
allegedly he
killed his cousin.
Killed his cousin. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe his cousin was just trying to get a little piece of the fame.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should stop before we get ourselves into trouble.
Yeah.
Hopefully, justice is served in that situation. The truth will prevail.
And the truth will set you free.
And the truth will absolutely set you free. Why don't we hit some news? Before we officially get into the news, you thought I was going to say first up.
I did. I even said it.
Yeah, you said it for me. That's not how I'm starting. I was just listening to a podcast on the way over here. It was a football podcast as well. Not going to name it because they don't deserve it. I'm just kidding. They're just talking about how annoying it is that at the beginning of their podcast, they have like 4 to 5 minutes where they talk nonsense, non-football related, and how annoying that must be. And I just thought of us and the fact that ours is usually from 15 to 20 minutes of pure nonsense.
Yeah.
But
isn't that nice?
Yeah, I think it's nice. Some people only like that part of the podcast.
Yeah, like my wife.
Yeah, okay. And probably mine. We won't get into that. But first up, in the news, the Texans were the last team going into this week without signing a head coach. And they've made it official. They're signing David Culley. David Culley, the passing game coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm laughing because I, along with a lot of really big football fans, had no idea who David Culley was before this hiring. It's just, there's so many things here with this hiring. And there's so many things with the Houston Texans right now. The David Culley hiring, I'm not going to say that it's a bad hiring, because what do I know really about coaches? Not a whole lot. I don't know who's a good coach, who's a bad coach. There's been many coaches that have been surprise hires and they end up being great successes. Guys like Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, guys like that who, maybe weren't the hot name, weren't the big name signing, but ended up being fantastic coaches. And you never know. 65-year-old David Culley, a guy who's been an assistant coach in the NFL since 1994, has never been a coordinator. He's the new head coach there in Houston. Like I said, interesting hire that they would go in and bring David Culley in. And not even really at first want to bring in Eric Bieniemy. They didn't bring in Robert Saleh for an interview. It's just a weird look. It's a weird hiring. We'll see how it goes down the line. He's got his work cut out for him because Deshaun Watson, also part of the news this week, officially requesting a trade from the Houston Texans. This is something that we've talked about for weeks and weeks on end. It's all other than, the NFL playoffs and everything going on, the biggest story in the NFL has been Deshaun Watson in his displeasure with the Houston Texans organization, his annoyance with ownership, with the leadership there, with Jack Easterby, with Cal McNair, the owner, and then the hiring of Nick Caserio certainly didn't do him any favors. And apparently David Culley, that hiring is not going to help things either. Although apparently the Texans have known for weeks that Deshaun Watson has requested a trade, but it only came out this week. Obviously we've talked about how Deshaun Watson has that no trade clause in his contract, so he will have a big say in where he goes. There's so many suitors. You could argue that I would say anywhere from 16 to 20 some teams are probably interested. Half the league you would expect to be interested in bringing in Deshaun Watson, because he is an upgrade on so many quarterbacks, even teams with established quarterbacks. We saw this week the Browns, some Browns fans wanting to bring in him to replace Baker Mayfield. Even teams like that, with Baker Mayfield, who's a solid, fine quarterback, Deshaun Watson is just better. So I expect there to be a huge, huge market for Deshaun Watson now that he's officially requested a trade. He'll have a big say. Apparently, the Jets and the Dolphins are still his two preferred destinations. We haven't seen any reciprocation from those teams really at all. We haven't seen much reciprocation from any of the teams. There was rumors that the Carolina Panthers are going to make a huge, strong push to bring in Deshaun Watson. That would be a cool place for him to go with all those offensive weapons. But this week also, Nick Caserio, during David Culley's introductory press conference, comes out and says that the team is still very much committed to Deshaun Watson, saying things like, organizationally, want to reiterate our commitment to Deshaun Watson. We have zero interest in trading the player. So that's what he said after it had came out that Deshaun Watson requested a trade. Who knows how much weight you can put in that, but that's some heavy language. Zero interest in trading the player. It's also interesting to call him the player and not call him by his name when he's the most important part of your team. He's been the biggest story to come out of your team this whole offseason, but that is something to definitely continue to track. Houston reportedly wants 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 defensive starters, per the Houston Chronicles' John McClain. Who knows if that's going to happen? That seems a little steep. I mean, I think the asking price will be big, but I think you lose a lot of leverage when everybody knows that Deshaun Watson absolutely does not want to be there, and odds are he's going to make a big stink out of being there if you don't get rid of him. So I think they've lost a little leverage in that regard. But just to pile even more on what's been a really tough season and really tough offseason for the Houston Texans, J.J. Watt is reportedly expected to part ways. Some people saying that he's actually requested already to be released rather than traded from the Houston Texans. So this is just another thing going on with the Texans. The Texans, I don't think there's a team in the NFL in a worse spot than the Houston Texans. J.J. Watt wants out. Deshaun Watson wants out. You could argue those are the 2 most important players in the history of the Houston Texans organization. So definitely we'll keep you posted on what goes on there in Houston. But odds are it's not going to be good. Next up in the news, we have the first big move of the offseason that hasn't even officially started yet. The Super Bowl has not even ended, and we already have the biggest story so far this offseason, and that is Matthew Stafford being traded from the Detroit Lions to the Los Angeles Rams in the first big blockbuster deal. Probably one of the biggest deals we've seen in years. Matthew Stafford goes to Los Angeles for a 2022 first-round pick, a 2023 first-round pick, a 21 third-round pick, and Jared Goff. And that is a heck of a lot to give up for the Los Angeles Rams. 2 first-round picks and a third. The second first-round pick, I think, is mostly just because of Jared Goff's contract. It's kind of a salary dump type deal, which is crazy to think that Jared Goff, just a few years ago, had one of the best offenses, led one of the best offenses in the NFL, all the way to the Super Bowl, and now he's being salary dumped onto what is going to be one of the worst teams in football next year. Definitely a huge fall from grace, but the exact reverse thing happening to Matthew Stafford here, a guy who's spent his entire career on the Detroit Lions, a team that just has not been able to compete, has not been able to surround him with the talent necessary. He's now going to a Los Angeles Rams team that will do whatever it takes to get talent around him. And that's not just talk. That's something we've seen time and time again with this Los Angeles Rams team. They don't care what it takes. They do not value first round picks the same way that other NFL teams do. First round picks are gold in the NFL, and more so than in other leagues. I think other leagues, first round picks are not nearly as important. The NFL, most NFL teams place a high value on first round picks, but the Los Angeles Rams have not picked in the first round since 2016, when Jared Goff was that pick. There in 2016, they picked Todd Gurley the year before. Since 2016, they have not had a first-round pick. They've traded them away for guys like Brandon Cooks, guys like Jalen Ramsey. I know Marcus Peters was in there. I don't know if he was a first-round pick. I'm not sure, but they've given away tons of draft capital to bring in guys like that, and they will not pick in the first round unless they trade back in until 2024. That's 8 years that they will go without making a first-round pick. That is unheard of in the NFL. It's definitely interesting to see a team go so totally counter-cultural to what the rest of the NFL has been doing, where first-round picks are so big, draft capital is so huge. We've seen teams like the Dolphins take essentially a year off and just collect as much draft capital as possible. And the Rams go completely the opposite. And if it works, they'll be geniuses for it. But and so far, it has worked. They're a playoff team year in and year out. They've been one of the winningest teams the last few seasons since Sean McVay has been there. But you have to be careful, because the second that it doesn't work, and all of a sudden you don't make the playoffs for 2-3 straight seasons, and you're stuck without a first round pick until 2024, things could get quite ugly, and it could cost some people their jobs. But as far as Matthew Stafford coming in, playing in that Sean McVay offense, it's going to be super fun. I can't wait. I really wish that the Rams had better uniforms, because my goodness, they're ugly. I was going to talk about this a few weeks ago when they were playing against the Packers in the divisional round. The Rams, I feel like we've forgotten, and I don't see enough people talk about it anymore, how unbelievably hideous the Los Angeles Rams uniforms are. Why are there like gel on the numbers? Like, I don't understand that. It's like a shiny gel on the numbers. It's like, it's the stupidest looking uniform in the NFL, and it sucks. They're a cool, fun team. Matthew Stafford, I think, is going to have a career year. That's my prediction already, very early. I think him and Sean McVay are going to be super fun. It just sucks that he has to play in those dark blue and bone colored uniforms that the Los Angeles Rams are, or have. But overall, I love this trade. I think this trade is just setting the table for what's going to be an insane, wild offseason. I think we're going to see so many quarterbacks, so many new quarterbacks starting. Almost, like I said, almost half the league, if not over half the league, could potentially have brand new starting quarterbacks this upcoming year. And that's exciting. What an offseason it's going to be. I can't wait. But the offseason's not over yet, or the offseason is not here yet, because the season is not over yet. We still have so much Super Bowl to talk about. We're going to quickly go through some quick hits, and then we're going to hit the Super Bowl extravaganza, Joe. But first, let's quickly go through some quick news just to end things off. First of all, we have Jason Witten retiring for the second time, this time hopefully for good. He retires after 17 seasons in the NFL. He signs a 1-year contract with the Dallas Cowboys. He's made 11 Pro Bowls. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro. He's the second most receiving yards for tight ends in the history of the NFL, 5th in touchdowns among tight ends. So mazel tov, as they say, to Jason Witten on a tremendous career there in Dallas. and that one season in Las Vegas that people will most likely forget. That's going to be one of those things that we look back on and be like, oh yeah, Jason Witten played for the Raiders that one year. Or, oh yeah, Jason Witten was in the Monday Night Football booth there for a year. But the next quick hit news, Big Ben announces he's planning to return to the Pittsburgh Steelers for one more season. It seems like it'll be the final season. He's also going to be taking a pay cut as he's owed $41.2 million on his deal coming up this year. The Steelers have basically said, we're not going to pay him that. And Ben has said, that's fine. I don't really deserve that this year. So it'll be interesting to see if Steelers fans are excited about Big Ben coming back and if Big Ben can play at a high level like he did at the beginning of last season, or if we're going to see more of the end of last season Big Ben. And then finally, in the news, we have a super cool, encouraging story to end the news off, and that's Ron Rivera. We've talked about him a few times, his battle with cancer, and officially 5 months after being diagnosed with lymph node cancer. What are your lymph nodes, Joe?
I don't know exactly, but I know that they can get swollen and they can be in different places in your body, I believe.
Okay.
I've had swollen lymph nodes before, I think.
I think I have as well, but I didn't.
And it feels like almost like a small tumor, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, what is that bump? But then it's just swollen lymph nodes.
And imagine if that was actually cancer, because that's what happened to Ron Rivera, and he's now cancer
cleared.
Free.
Wow.
After 5 months. 5 months after being diagnosed with lymph node
He fought
cancer.
the good fight.
He fought the good fight. He
Good
made
for
it.
him.
Salute to Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron. What an incredible story that has been. His ability to coach in the NFL, which is one of the most demanding jobs in all of sports and in the world, really. Credit to him. Congratulations to him and his family. And just a cool, fun story to end things off. But without further ado, why don't we just jump straight in to the Super Bowl preview and the Super Bowl extravaganza. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Joe. Who would have thought when we started this little podcast, me alone in my bedroom with blankets and pillows all on the floor, that we'd make it to our first Super Bowl on this podcast. First of many, hopefully.
Yeah.
First of many. We made it through the craziest year in the history of our lifetime, for sure. I mean, I'm sure there's been crazier times when there was wars and stuff, but definitely an insane year. Who would have thought we'd even be at a Super Bowl? It's kind of a crazy testament to the NFL that they've made it this far with no game cancellations. Not one game was canceled this year. There was rescheduling.
Oh,
they would
that's what you
reschedule a
mean.
game a few days later. I knocked over one of your chips here.
They're not chips.
I know. I said it to offend you. We're talking about chess pieces.
Yeah.
Pawn.
It was a knight.
Night.
It was a knight.
A pawn night. But yeah, we made it. It's a Super Bowl. Whether
Yeah.
you like it or not, here we are. So we made it. Very minimal hiccups. It's actually incredible because there are other leagues that have struggled a lot. The NBA was quite pompous about everything with their bubble, and they were like, oh, watch the NFL. They're struggling with the game rescheduling. And now the NBA has canceled like 20% of their freaking games so far. So it's like, all right, back off, NBA. But we're in the Super Bowl. Joe, you got anything you want to say about this Super Bowl matchup before we get in and preview this thing? Really sink our teeth into this?
Yeah, honestly, two really good teams, explosive teams. They got good offense. They got good defense. They're going to go into the game. They're really going to do it. They're going to do it on the field. I'm looking forward to see the kid and the goat. You know what I mean?
Nice, dude.
Really hit it off.
Nice.
And go head to head. And you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that was super. I love it when you say that they're going to go on the field. They're really going to do it.
Yeah.
This time. It's really going to happen this time.
Yeah, this is the time.
Yeah.
This is the biggest game of the year.
If not now, then when?
Yeah.
Is what you can really say.
Exactly. So the big bowl is coming up, and I cannot wait, Joe. I can't wait.
It's gonna be exciting. In all reality, it is exciting. It's super fun, even for those who aren't sarcastic. It's gonna be It's one of the most intriguing Super Bowl matchups we've had in years, honestly. To have potentially one of, if not the best quarterback matchup in the history of the football, the sport that we call football. Tom Brady, like you said, the GOAT. What noise did you make?
No.
Okay, all right. I think it was a goat noise. Tom Brady, the GOAT, versus Patrick Mahomes. You said the kid?
Yeah, I did say the kid.
The potential new GOAT, the young GOAT versus the old GOAT. Tom Brady playing in his 10th Super Bowl in 20-some years in the NFL. He's won 6, lost 3. It was previous 9. He's got a chance to go for 7. Nobody's ever even had 6. Joe Montana only had 5. And Tom Brady already has 6. He has a chance to get to 7. Then you have Patrick Mahomes coming in. People are calling it a passing of the torch game. It's Patrick Mahomes' time. He's going to take down Brady. He's going to take over. I can tell you one thing for sure. Brady's not going to be too excited to give away that torch. He's definitely not going to give it away without a fight. But there's so many intriguing matchups and storylines going into this game. So we're gonna really dive deep into some keys, I think, for each team to walk away with a victory, and then to have a little fun. We're gonna end things off, Joe and I, talking about some Super Bowl prop bets. That's right, bets that you can make.
Oh my goodness!
That you don't really need to know anything about football. Joe, we're gonna get you involved. See what you think. Maybe we'll even, write these down, see how we do next week.
Okay, good.
Bet real hard, cold hard cash on these.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing any more things with money.
Stocks are down, and so are we.
Everything's hitting the fan, so let's just not talk about it.
Let's just talk about the Super Bowl. But I want to get into previewing this matchup and previewing keys for each team to win the game. And why don't we start off with the team that's hosting the Super Bowl, the first ever team to host the Super Bowl and play in the Super Bowl. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they are considered the underdog in this game. Tom Brady, the first time since his very first Super Bowl, considered the underdog in a Super Bowl. And my big keys to this game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 3 main things. The Bucs defensive line versus a Chiefs depleted offensive line. Containing Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and then my final point is all gas and no brakes. And those are my 3 keys for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The first up, the Bucs offensive line. The Mighty Ducks are actually playing in this game as well. The Tampa Bay Bucs defensive line versus the Chiefs depleted offensive line. The Tampa Bay Bucs throughout this playoffs have had games where they are dominant, not only on defense like we saw in that Saints game, but on that defensive line like we saw last week against the Green Bay Packers. They had 5 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. Shaq Barrett, who led the league in sacks last year, had 3 sacks. JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, had 2 sacks. They've been dominant at times, and in times they've kind of gone away. So the biggest key, I think, for this Tampa Bay team is to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, is to make him uncomfortable. And I don't know what you're saying, and I have the same thought. Patrick Mahomes is amazing versus pressure, and he is. He's the best quarterback in the NFL against blitzes and against pressure. Against blitzes, Patrick Mahomes has a 23-1 touchdown interception ratio, which is insane when he's facing 5+ pass rushers. He has a 116.5 passer rating against 5+ pass rushers, and it's only a 109 when he's facing 4. So it's even more impressive, his passer rating, when he's faced with more pressure by blitzers, which is just insane. So you're thinking, how on earth, when Patrick Mahomes is this good against pressure, this good against blitzes, is blitzing him a good idea? And that's just what this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense does. That's the reason they've been successful. That's what they do best, is they call blitzes. And if ever there were a time to attack the Chiefs with these blitzes, you'd think now would be the time. Obviously, you don't want to be too crazy. You don't want to go too buck wild with these blitzes because of how good Patrick Mahomes is against the blitz. But they're missing Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, a guy who opted out at the beginning of the season. They're missing Mitchell Schwartz in this game. They lost Eric Fisher last week to a torn Achilles. They lost Kelechi Osemele early on in the season. They have so many pieces missing on this offensive line. If ever there was a time to attack this offensive line, now would be that time, because they are completely depleted. And although Patrick Mahomes is amazing against the blitz, the one thing that you can say about him is that you can bait him into taking brutal sacks. And I think back to the game against Miami that the Chiefs played this year, when Patrick Mahomes took a 30-some yard sack against the Dolphins, because Patrick Mahomes knows how great he is. He knows how elusive he is. He knows how good he is at avoiding the sack, that sometimes he gets himself into really tough situations and can take a brutal sack. We see the same thing from Josh Allen. It happens to him a lot. And if you can get Patrick Mahomes in that situation a few times, and a lot of the times when you blitz, it's not going to work, and he's going to make you pay. But if you can get him in just enough situations to where he takes these brutal sacks that pushes them out of field goal range or backs them up way deep into their own end, that is a situation that would certainly help your offense a lot. And then another thing defensively is you have to do a better job than you did in Week 12 at containing Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. And obviously, that is easier said than done. Essentially, nobody in the league has been able to contain these guys. Nobody in the league has been able to contain this offense. But we saw what they did in Week 12, trying to put single coverage on Tyreek Hill. He had over 200 yards in the first quarter. He ended up with 269 yards on 13 receptions and 3 touchdowns in that game. So that didn't work. Don't do that. And Travis Kelce also had in 82 yards. But if you look back throughout the season, Travis Kelce, I think you need to zero in on him, because Tyreek Hill, I think, is going to get his yards. I don't think that the secondary there in Tampa is quite good enough to contain him. I don't think any secondary is good enough to contain him. But Travis Kelce is one situation I think that they can do a better job at containing. And he is almost a bigger part of that offense than Tyreek Hill even is. But on that Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense, you have 2 fast, athletic linebackers in Levante David and Devin White. If you can match them up with Travis Kelce and do everything you can to shut him down, because he is a third down monster. That is a huge key to victory, I think, is shutting down Travis Kelce. Because this Kansas City team, rather, they rely on him in huge key situations, and Tyreek Hill's going to get his yards. The Bucs already have the best rush defense in the NFL, so you don't have to worry about that against a very bad rushing team. Tyreek Hill's going to get his yards. Just do everything you can to contain Travis Kelce with guys like Devin White, guys like Levante David, and Antoine Winfield Jr. If he can play, he's still injured right now. But containing Tyreek Hill and zeroing in on that is huge. And then my final key to victory for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is all gas and no brakes. And I think this is a big reason why Tampa Bay matches up really well with this Kansas City team. It's this all gas, no brakes, no risk it, no biscuit mentality that Bruce Arians has for this team. If you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs, you will most likely, especially if you're playing them in the playoffs, you will most likely start the game with a lead. Kansas City seems to every single game allow their opponent to get up in the game, get a lead, 10, 13-point lead, and then the opponent starts to take their foot off the gas, and that's when you get 21, 28, 35 unanswered points scored on you. You cannot let that happen if you're Tampa Bay. So if you get off to that early lead, you need to be aggressive, and you need to be the exact opposite of what we saw from Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills a couple weeks ago. Field goals are not going to do it against this team, and We saw it, like I said, against Buffalo. We've seen it against Tampa Bay. We saw a Green Bay opt for field goals in key situations. That's not going to work against this Kansas City team. When you have chances to step on their neck, when you have chances to put them away, you have to be aggressive and put them away. You have to score to beat Kansas City, and that sounds obvious, but Kansas City is going to score. They're going to get their points. You have to do everything you can and more to match and hopefully overmatch their scoring. So if you get off to that lead, I feel very confident in Bruce Arians and his no risk it, no biscuit mentality, because he's not the type of guy. We saw him last week. A few seconds left, 13 seconds left before the half. He decides to go for it at midfield on 4th and 3 or whatever it was. He throws a dot from Tom Brady to the end zone for a touchdown to Scotty Miller. That's the type of aggression you need to play with if you want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, because you can either go down sad or you can go down swinging, or you might surprise some people and some of these risks, some of these chances pay off, and you beat Kansas City. And that is the key to beating Kansas City, is aggression, all gas, no brakes for Tampa Bay. And then moving on to the other team involved in this Super Bowl, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, who will try to go back-to-back, the first team since Tom Brady's Patriots in the early 2000s to win back-to-back Super Bowls. And my 3 keys for the Kansas City Chiefs to win Super Bowl 55 is 1, get pressure on Tom Brady, 2, make the Bucs pay on blitzes, and 3, score first and keep on scoring. So first up, and this is something we've heard over and over, and people have said until they're blue in the face, the way to beat Tom Brady is to get pressure, and get pressure up the middle specifically. And that hasn't changed. As cliche as it sounds, as duh as it sounds, the way to beat Tom Brady is to get pressure on him, is to disrupt his rhythm, disrupt his timing. And despite how amazing Tom Brady is, and he is amazing, he's the greatest of all time. When he's been beat in both the Super Bowl and in this season, we've seen he's been beat because of the pressure on him. It's because even if it's not sacks, getting in his face, getting in his grill, disrupting his timing, just causing things to be just slightly disrupted so that he doesn't have these easy completions. We saw it in his Super Bowl losses to the Giants. We saw it in that Eagles Super Bowl loss. He had that huge sack fumble that cost him the game there at the end. And then we've seen it this year at times. That I can think back to the Bears loss on, I think it was Monday Night Football. Tom Brady just had no time. The Bears were relentless, and they could not get anything done. If you get in there, disrupt his timing. Understand the Chiefs' defense is not great, and I think they're going to struggle in this game just as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense will struggle. But you need guys like Chris Jones, Frank Clark, who always seems to step up. Both of those guys seem to step up in big games. You need them to step up big, get pressure on the GOAT, get in his grill, disrupt his timing, and that will be a huge, huge key, because if you can do that, Tom Brady will get frustrated. And I think we will see them start to wear away at this Tampa Bay offense. And then on to the second point, and it's make the Bucs pay on these blitzes. And this is something I talked about when I was talking about the Buccaneers. Blitzes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers love to bring pressure. They love to bring blitzes, and I think it's because the lack of real talent or experience. They have a decent secondary. It's very young in experience. Carlton Davis is young. Antoine Winfield Jr. is young. All those guys, Sean Murphy Bunting, all super young guys. I think they make up for that inexperience by just sending the house a lot. During the regular season, they blitzed on 39% of their dropbacks, which is the third highest in the NFL, behind just the Cardinals and the Dolphins were number one. So when they're blitzing that much, and we talked about how amazing Patrick Mahomes is against the blitz, you have to make them pay on those blitzes. This is the exact inverse of what we were talking about with the Buccaneers. When we talk about the Buccaneers had to make those blitzes count, and if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you're going to have to make those blitzes count for you. When they do blitz, there's usually going to be a guy open. That guy's usually going to be Travis Kelce. That guy's usually going to be, somebody's going to be open. If they're blitzing, that means there's one guy unaccounted for. And you got to be able to find that guy. You got to be able to get quick completions. And we've seen this at times throughout this playoffs. The Kansas City Chiefs fine with taking the easy dump offs, taking the short completions, and turning them into big gains. And that's such a huge key for the Kansas City Chiefs in this game, is making the Buccaneers pay for taking chances. If they're going to do the risk it, biscuit, no risk it, no biscuit mentality, you got to make them pay for taking those risks. And then on to the final point, and this is something that is obvious. And this is if you're the Chiefs, score first and then just never stop scoring, because it's pretty obvious. If you score first and then you continue to score more than your opponent, you cannot lose the game. And that's obvious. The Chiefs like I said, they like to start with themselves behind the 8 ball. They love doing it. We see it in literally almost every single playoff game that Patrick Mahomes has played in. The Chiefs start down 10, down 14, down 21, down 24. Just ridiculous deficits. They come back in the blink of an eye, but this is the one thing that I think can result in a blowout. If the Kansas City Chiefs can shake that, if they can start off hot and then continue to just be themselves, play hot throughout the whole game, I think this game, they could blow the doors off this game, and this could be a blowout. This is the only situation that I could see a blowout happening, and I think it's a very small chance of this happening. But if you can score first, I think that opens up the rest of the game. I think you got to feel confident that you can outscore the Buccaneers the rest of the game, because you cannot fall asleep at the wheel when you do score first, because Tom Brady has the second most fourth quarter comebacks in the history of the NFL. You cannot let him get back into another Super Bowl, and you cannot let the ball be in Tom Brady's hands, regardless of how old he is, regardless of what you think of Tom Brady. You cannot have it be a one-possession game, come down to the final possession, and have Tom Brady have the ball in that final possession. You cannot do that. So when you score, and when you have a lead, you have to continue to score. It's very much the same like we talked about with the Buccaneers, the all gas, no brakes mentality. If Kansas City can start off hot, there's a good chance Tom Brady never gets a chance to make that game-winning drive there at the end. So that is my keys for this game. And before we get into my score prediction and who I think is going to win Super Bowl 55, why don't we get Joe involved a little bit. Joe, how you been? You've been playing a little chess.
Yeah, but I realized that I put myself in check a long time ago, which you're not allowed to do, and I messed the whole thing up.
Sorry, you did what?
I put myself in check.
What's that?
So I moved this knight here.
This is good for an audio thing.
So yeah, I moved my king here, and then I moved my knight over here. But I can't do that because I can't move my king here because that puts me in check right here.
All right.
You cannot put yourself into check.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you in check a little bit here, and we're going to talk about some Super Bowl prop bets. I don't know if you know what prop bets are, Joe.
Flip of the coin, color of the juice, everything, man.
Very good. Those are two of the ones here. So Super Bowl prop bets are stupid. They're things these are legit things that people can bet on. I looked these up. You can look them up yourself if you don't believe me. I found these on, hang on one second if I can find it here, USA Today. So this is a legit source. I found these. You can legitimately bet on these. And I want to get your opinion, Joe. The first thing that you can bet on, like you talked about, the coin toss. And this is a 50-50, obviously. Literally the definition of 50-50. So you have the same odds. It's minus 105. So you have to bet $105. I think that's how that works, to win $100.
So how much do you make in the end? Do you make $100 in the end?
Yeah, 100. Yes.
What?
Yeah. You have to bet 100. You have to bet 105 to win $100.
Okay.
Yeah. So what, like, you say you're betting on this. What are you? I think this is an intriguing look into somebody's brain. Heads or tails? What do you usually choose, heads or tails? Or do you not have a specific one that you choose?
I would say tails.
Tails?
Yeah.
Is there a reason?
No.
Okay. I would agree because tails never fails, baby.
Yeah.
That's literally that's I choose tails every time.
Oh.
Every single time. I don't just literally because that stupid little rhyme.
Oh, I never. That's my first time hearing that rhyme. Gonna be quite honest with you.
Really? You've never heard tails never fails?
I've never heard that before ever.
Really?
Yeah. Seriously.
So you would be picking tails in this scenario.
Yeah, I would be. Yep.
Yeah. And then you feeling pretty confident about that?
Pretty confident. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. All right.
I'm not putting any money on it. But
too late.
Oh.
Here's a good one, and this is something you can actually bet on. What word in the broadcast is said first? Not the first word, but like which one of these two words is said first?
Oh my God.
COVID or pandemic? Which one do you think is going to be said first?
Pandemic. Oh, shoot.
Pandemic.
COVID.
COVID? You're changing.
Yep. No,
Okay.
it's COVID.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're gonna say COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I thought, but pandemic has good odds, man. You bet $100, you can make $300. It's plus 300. That's the underdog.
Oh.
I piqued your interest a little bit with that one.
Yeah, I did. You did.
Listen. If there's anything I'm gonna bet on, it might. I also agree with you. I think they're gonna say COVID pandemic. It feels like something, or COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes.
But you might just get lucky, and they might just say pandemic first. And then you're $300 richer. That's not bad. That's not bad.
No, you're right.
You're right. But that's an interesting one. That's one that you could literally only have this year. You can't really. Well, you could try, doing it years down the line. I hope that we're still not talking about COVID-19 pandemics.
No.
Next Super Bowl, that would be depressing.
Yes.
And here's another one that you were talking about, the Gatorade color. So this is the color of the Gatorade that gets thrown on the game-winning coach, either Bruce Arians or Andy Reid.
Okay.
And here are the options. Orange. So orange is. Hang on, let me look at these odds. I gotta figure this. Orange is the favorite.
Okay.
So I think most of the time it's orange. So it's plus 125.
Huh.
Red/pink. That's plus 300. Yellow/green/lime. They threw all those three into
Wow.
Lime is not really a color. I don't know why that's even in there. And then you have purple or blue. And blue is that's got good odds, plus 700 right there.
Oh, I would do blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling too.
And you have to put in $100?
Well, you don't have to. Like if you put in more, it's just plus 700 is just, I guess, an example. I don't know how to do the calculation. I'm not a bettor at all, but
No.
basically, if you would bet $100 and you win, you'd make $700 off that.
So
bet.
if you bet 200, you get
1,400, you would think.
Wow.
Yeah.
You think? Yeah.
You
I
would
think that's probably how it works.
I would assume so, but that seems really good. Blue,
Yeah.
like.
If I had extra cash, absolutely.
But there's got to be a reason why that it's like what it. I mean, it must not be very likely that there's blue Gatorade at these games.
I know.
But like, I don't know. Like, orange does feel like a color that you would see a lot. Orange is kind of like the Gatorade color, is it not?
I don't know. Why would you want orange Gatorade? Here's what I would choose blue. When I played soccer, when I did any sports, when I ever did anything athletic,
Perfect.
when I do anything athletic currently, blue Gatorade always.
That's
I
what
always
I'm
go
saying.
for the blue Gatorade.
100%.
It's the best one.
I agree. Blue is the best flavor.
And I think that's a pretty popular opinion as well.
Yeah.
That it is
I don't think that's
best
crazy.
flavor.
So I feel like a lot of people think that the lime yellow color is the best.
No,
the best flavor.
It gives me heartburn, man.
It's fine. It's
also,
like,
the grape one, NFL players wouldn't be drinking grape.
Yeah,
flavored.
Purple seems like it should be the longest of long shots.
Yeah.
I would almost bet my mortgage on it not being purple.
Yeah, me too.
Because purple
And if
seems. Come on, let's get real here.
Yeah.
We're betting about colors.
Grow up.
Yeah,
honestly.
grow up. Seriously. Yeah, so I don't know.
Are we gonna bet on some of these?
Yeah, you want to bet on one?
I don't have the.
I don't have the funds.
My wife won't let me.
Okay, well, let's not bet actual money. So you said tails. I also said tails, I guess. You said COVID. I guess I didn't say what I say, but I'm thinking COVID as well. Gatorade color. What are you feeling? Which color do you think it's going to be?
I'm gonna go blue.
Blue.
I am actually gonna go blue.
That's not bad. I'm gonna stick safe. I'm gonna go orange. I wish it would. Blue seems like such a smart bet. Blue, come on. But no, I'm gonna go orange just to be safe because I want to be right. We might check back on these things next week, or we might not. Who knows? But also, here's the next one. So Super Bowl commercials, huge
Oh
deal.
my goodness.
Super Bowl commercials are all the rage. Budweiser announced they're not actually doing a Super Bowl commercial this year, which is the smartest thing ever.
Why?
They just imagine how much publicity they got from announcing that they're not doing a Super Bowl commercial.
Probably almost as much as actually having one.
So they just saved millions, literally millions of dollars, and they still got the free advertising.
No kidding.
Advertisement.
Free advertisement. That actually brings us to our sponsor, Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
Not Budweiser.
They actually did a commercial.
Oh, it was a part in? Oh, okay. Sorry. You have to say something, man. I don't know where to go. Okay. How many commercials do you think that there's going to be featuring a dog?
3.
And this is over, under. Okay, there's an over, under. Over 4.5 or under 4.5?
How do you do the half thing?
It's just a number. You just can't say. Well, you can't say 4.5. There's not going to be half a commercial.
Oh.
It's just they're trying to find a number. So over 4.5.
Under.
You think under?
Yeah.
Under 4.5.
They mean are about a dog or that
No,
have
there's
a dog?
just a dog in it. How many commercials will have a dog in it? 4.5 seems
Over.
like a lot.
Over
Okay,
4.5.
over. You're saying over now.
Yeah.
People do really like dogs.
Yeah.
The favorite is over 4.5. Somehow, the favorite is minus 250. Over 4. So then they must know something that I don't know. There must be so many commercials with dogs in it. Wow. How many commercials are there in one Super Bowl?
Well, yeah. Tell me how many. If I knew how many commercials there were, I would have a better guess.
And I can't answer that. Sorry, I didn't do enough research for this.
How dare you?
We're already talking about this a lot more than I thought we would. But over,
I think over 4.5. I honestly do think so.
Okay, I'm gonna say under, just because I feel like 4. That's a good number. 4 commercials.
And you like being the under dog. Anyways, guys, on to the next one.
On to our next sponsor, Underdog on DVD.
Yeah.
A movie that came out in the early 2000s.
I never watched it.
Me neither, but it had that guy from Corey in the House.
Corey?
Yeah, Corey. What was his name? Kyle Massey.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Massey. Very
Yes.
good. And the next one is, will Kyle Massey show up at the Super Bowl? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I hope so.
Anybody who's anybody is going to be at the Super Bowl. He's Corey in the freaking House. This is a legit thing that you can bet on. The primary color of Patrick Mahomes' headband. And the choices are, so red is the favorite, minus 400. Black, gray, or white.
White.
Wow.
It's going to be white.
That's the ultimate underdog. That's plus 600.
I'm going to make so much money,
Dude,
then.
Now that I think about it, I think it's going to be red. I think for the most part, I don't know. We should Google Patrick Mahomes headbands. Like, what does he usually wear? I feel like it's red. But I can't imagine him wearing a black headband. Oh boy. Okay, so I Google it. He actually has a wide array of headbands, more than I thought.
Really?
He's got a black one. So there is red, a lot of red, but he does wear a black one at times. What did you say? White?
White.
He's got a white one in one of these pictures.
Yes.
Wow, black might be a better. Oh, it is plus 210. So you can make $210 off a $100 bet. That's not bad, but red seems like the overwhelming favorite. But he does wear black a lot. White is one that he looked like he wore in college quite a bit. So I don't know. What an interesting topic to talk about. What color headband? What color headband would you wear, Joe?
I would wear white.
You would wear white?
That would be the ultimate baller move.
White headband?
Yeah. That would look good. That would look really good, I think.
Would you go with like just the one, like the sweatband headband, or would you go with like the
do-rag?
Like the not so much do-rag, but like the thicker, the one that, you know what Patrick Mahomes wears?
Yes,
like that big,
that one.
That's what you're considering the do-rag? That, or also the one that's really cool is like the ninja headband. Like it's like that kind of, but it's got like the top.
That's what I imagine right now.
Oh, really? That's not what he wears. His doesn't have the tying thing in the back. But that would be the coolest one to wear. Yeah,
cool.
the ninja headband is the coolest.
That would be like
thing.
the best. Like, yes, I won the Super Bowl last year. I'm 25 years old.
Yeah, I'm better than you at everything.
Yeah,
I'm a ninja now.
yeah,
Yeah, that's super cool.
that's what I would do.
The ninja headband.
Yeah, oh for sure, 100%.
And you're thinking it's gonna be white?
It's gonna be white.
I think it's gonna be red, but that's not fun. So I'll say black, just for the. I mean, that's not really fun either. It's just talking about headbands. But and then we have a final two of them. One of them is how many times Gisele Bündchen will be shown on the broadcast. So I don't know if you know who Gisele Bündchen is.
Anyone who's No, I don't.
Okay, that's Tom Brady's wife.
Oh,
She's a model, Gisele Bündchen. They have multiple children together. I don't know why I laughed at that, but yeah, she is.
Kids.
The over/under is 1.5. How many times she'll be shown on the screen? And I think this is easy money. Man. Over 100%.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I know. 1.5. I would smash the over on that. That's plus 170 right there.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, especially if this is a close game, comes down to the wire. Tom Brady's on the field driving. At the end, they're gonna show Gisele covering her mouth and like just freak. Oh, yeah, just like a concern, or like he scores a big touchdown. After every touchdown, they're probably showing her celebrate 100%.
Yeah,
this feels like
mostly because there's going to be nobody there in the stands.
Well, there is going to be people, but like not,
yeah, but not like
totally
40,000 like there usually would be.
Yeah, exactly. So that feels like easy money, man. Smash the over on that. I feel like at least 4 times.
Yeah,
at least 4 times.
Oh, for sure.
And then the final one is, which coach's nostrils do you think is going to show first? Because of the mask.
That's so. Oh, because they have to wear masks. Doesn't Andy Reid use the face shield?
See, that's why I brought this one up. That is a good point. Okay, Bruce Arians feels like he is the favorite. So people are thinking Bruce Arians, he doesn't wear his mask properly very often, so it's probably going to be him. But also, like you said, Andy, this is an intriguing thing. Andy Reid sometimes wears the hockey visor, where it's just a see-through visor. It's not a mask. It's a visor, and that's like bam again plus 150, easy money again.
Yeah.
What if he breaks out the see-through thing? That's right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So just something to chew on a little bit. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Bruce Arians just to be cheeky about it.
It's gonna be Andy Reid.
Nice.
It will. I think so.
Very good. All right. What a jolly good time. And speaking of jolly good times, the Super Bowl is happening. We'll be watching. Whether you like it or not, Joe, we'll be watching. And why don't I just end off with my Super Bowl prediction? Joe, I don't know if you want to go first with your Super Bowl prediction, who you think is going to win, how you think things are going to go.
In all seriousness, I'm going to be serious about it for a second.
Nice.
I would absolutely love to see Patrick Mahomes win the Super Bowl.
Really?
But if Tom Brady won this Super Bowl, I would lose my mind. This would be what, number 7?
7. Yeah.
That's a lot of championships won.
Yeah, that's
and if he wins from switching to a brand new team from a team that he has been on for how many years?
20 plus years.
20 plus years.
I don't know the exact number, but
switching to a brand new team, brand new players that he hasn't played with.
Yep. And this team was not a playoff team last year.
And making his way up, building the team up like that, and then winning a Super Bowl, that's like a comeback. Obviously he's the greatest. Yeah. Like he's amazing, but
no, that's incredible. But
you didn't expect that, did you?
No, that's good analysis. 100%. What Tom Brady has done this year is just another notch on his belt. Like to come to a brand new team, bring them all a team that has they were not a playoff team last year. They weren't even really all that close. To bring them all the way back. And to see what happened to the Patriots this year, not making the playoffs, it is incredible. It is absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm.
He really brought the magic, I think.
No, 100%, and it just totally changed the look of that team, totally changed the attitude on that team. So are you going with the Buccaneers or what?
No,
what
I still will go with the Chiefs.
That being said,
yeah, that all being said, I still am going to go with the Chiefs because I do think that the amount of experience that Patrick Mahomes has had with his team, he does have the advantage, I think. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, you got a score prediction?
I don't even know how many points a touchdown is.
Yes, you do.
I was kidding.
Okay, but just know this: the only score really that you can't have is 1-0. So just throw out a score prediction. What do you think? It's going to be a close game?
It's going to be a close game. Nice. It's going to be a nail biter.
Nice. I hope so.
I'm going to be on the edge of my seat.
You better be on the edge of your seat. Mm-hmm. No score then?
Oh, yeah, here we go. 27-25. Wow.
So a little low scoring. 27-25. That's 2-point game. That would be fun. 100%. I like
Watch
that.
it just be a blowout Buccaneers.
See, that's kind of where I sit. I think this is either going to be a really close game coming to the wire, or the Chiefs are going to blow them out. Because, like I said, if the Chiefs get off to a hot start and just keep it rolling, the Chiefs are a dominant team. But the Buccaneers, what they've been able to do with Tom Brady coming in there, changing that team completely. Tom Brady does this time and time again. He wins these kind of games. You cannot count him out. But that being said, like you, I feel like I gotta go Kansas City because they're just so dominant. Patrick Mahomes is, I talked about it last week, the most dominant quarterback I've ever seen. Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, but I've never seen anybody play the quarterback position the way Patrick Mahomes plays it. So I think it's going to be a Kansas City Chiefs win. I think it's going to be a 33-23 victory, a 10-point victory. And Patrick Mahomes balls out. He's Super Bowl MVP. And I think if this Buccaneers team cannot beat this Chiefs team, I don't know of any team in the league that can beat this Chiefs team. We might be on the verge of a real dynasty here in Kansas City. But what do we know? We're just a couple guys with a couple mics. We all get to see what happens in real life this Sunday. Really excited. Had a fun show. Joe, I don't know if you enjoyed yourself.
I did a lot.
Even though you checked yourself, that's fine. You check yourself. How's that saying? You check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks. So make sure you guys do that this weekend. Make sure you guys follow us on social medias @_average Joe on Instagram and Twitter. Well, Twitter is still a little bit of a mess right now. Trying to figure that whole situation out. So maybe just Instagram for now. Make sure you subscribe. Subscriptions are huge. Sharing is huge. Give us 5 stars or a like or whatever it takes for you to say, hey, I like this podcast. Would definitely appreciate that a bunch. Joe, you got anything to say before we wrap the show up?
No, man, I'm all ears.
You're all ears. All right. Very good. We're going to be all ears and all eyes on Tampa Bay this weekend for Super Bowl 55. Super excited. We will catch you guys on the next one.